Hi, my name is Lucy Morgione, and today I've prepared for you a presentation that shows you some of the current trends and issues with using ICT to enhance your teaching of literacy. The information I've collected will be extremely useful in how to teach up our digital natives, which are children of the 21st century who have grown up with an abundance of technology around them. Many teachers today have not grown up with ICTs and the amount of technology that children coming through schools today have had access to since the day they were born. Tafari states that areas within ICT are vital to our everyday lives, and sometimes we forget that we live in an information age. ICT affects all subject areas in the curriculum, our society, and also the interest levels of the vast majority of students. In today's society, we are constantly exposed to technology, whether it be the computer, the internet, smartphones, interactive whiteboards, music players, game machines, and the list just goes on. ICT is a massive part of the way our society works and also should be brought into schools on a regular basis as technology is all around us and in use in all parts of our lives, so why wouldn't we bring it into classroom lessons? Arinto states that ICTs in the classroom are proven to improve learning as it motivates and engages students in topics through multisensory stimulation and by providing authentic information. ICTs in classroom lessons also help to facilitate student achievement of basic skills through drill and practice techniques. For example, on education shows such as Sesame Street, which can be streamed through the internet and shown to children. ICTs in the classroom also encourage students' inquiries and exploration of topics. If a teacher doesn't know what they're talking about, ICTs can easily be used so a student can research the topic with the teacher's help to find the appropriate website. The website Digital Literacy I believe to be an invaluable resource for teachers, not only that is still to be won over by technology use in the classroom, but also teachers who have already made the step to include ICT across subjects in their curriculum. This website provides a fantastic global resource of ICT literacy and digital literacy materials, interactive discussions, and research information. The resources are intended to build awareness, encourage debate, and promote the importance of digital literacy. They provide practical information for teachers and educational leaders, and encourage communication by using technology tools in the most collaborative sense. The website is not very visually appealing as there is so much information crammed onto the pages. Yet after having a closer look, the information is very useful and easy to understand once you get past the clutter of the website. I particularly was drawn to the resource page, which had so many valuable documents and information, including information on interactive whiteboard technology, which also includes resources and reports on development and the use of interactive whiteboard in our classrooms today. The resource also has background information section that contains information on global ICT literacy initiatives and policies for teachers who are still to be won over to have a look at. A resource that stuck out to me as useful is the K-12 resource folder, which included digital literacy curriculum, resources, guides, standards, and policies for primary and secondary education. This is fantastic for any teacher who might need that little bit of extra help in starting to implement ICTs into their lessons and are not too sure where to start. There are so many fantastic parts of this website, and I would recommend you to take the time to visit it, as it will give you an insight into how ICT can be used in your teaching of literacy to benefit your students. For most of the past century, literacy has been associated with being able to read the printed word. The meaning of literacy, however, is changing. Not only are reading experts expanding their notion of literacy to include technology use, but it is included in literacy in other disciplines, as well as and technology skills across disciplines. This article is all about merging literacy and technology with all the technological advances we've had in the last 10 years. Children today are so used to technology and learn so very quickly. So by bringing learning and technology together, optimum learning can take place. This article has some great arguments to advocate technology use in the classroom. And the downside to it might be that the article specifically talks of gifted children, but if we tweak the information a little bit, it's pretty generalised and can be used for any given classroom environment or grades. sportsebooks.com talks about students of all ages and levels being likely to use ebooks in the future due to its many benefits. Students will no longer have to carry heavy bags for the books, and they can also store hundreds of books on one digital ebook reader. Ebooks can also allow for greater interaction and can be tailored to fit a specific course, not to mention having more functionality than a regular book. Ebooks are environmentally friendly as they can reduce your carbon footprint, which is what a lot of people are going for these days. We can reduce the amount of paper wastage also because ebooks are digital, unlike traditional books do not require paper. This podcast is all about ebooks and their benefits in schools and how they're starting to incorporate them into the curriculum. It does in fact talk about the many issues that still need to be worked out before a successful ebook program can be implemented on a very large scale. The creator of this podcast, Grissom, talks in detail about these issues and possible fixes so we can start to implement this ebook curriculum as soon as we can. This podcast has some really excellent ideas and is very informative about the use of ebooks in schools. This video project was created to inspire teachers to use technology in engaging ways to help students develop higher level thinking skills. Equally important, it serves to motivate district level leaders to provide teachers with the tools and training to do so. This video is about a vision of K-12 students today in the 21st century and digital age. Is not only an eye-opener, but it's also very inspiring in the sense to teach ICTs and teach the right way to use them for schooling. This video points out that students are already spending so much time using technology, whether it be their mobile phones, the internet, music such as iTunes and iPods, their computers or gaming devices such as PlayStations and DSs. It's what interests the students and it's also what motivates them. It's just their way of life. Teaching needs to be inspiring to students, and this video points out in a dramatic way that students do not want to learn using just pens and papers and books. They need to be pushed to learn and learn how to use technology properly in the educational sense. If 99% of what we teach is verbal and 87% of how we learn is visual, it just makes sense that speaking without engaging students visually is not going to hold their attention. This video should be used to show teachers, parents and anyone involved in a child's education just how much students rely on technology and how important it is that we teach to their needs. This above video is all about digital storytelling, which is a computer-based activity that can further develop or help students' writing skills. EdWeb, the creator of the website that I particularly chose, states that digital storytelling has many benefits, and some include encourages collaborative learning, so students problem solve and bounce ideas off each other, allows students to learn and present in their individual learning style. It's also motivating to students because it relates to their personal experiences or interests. It also enhances writing by requiring students to consider a wider audience, not just their teacher. Digital storytelling is fantastic because it allows students to share work with a large audience that can reach the outside classroom. It also provides a non-threatening way for students to read their writing aloud and practical and meaningful way to learn new technology. A disadvantage of this type of activity would be if a school or a classroom was disadvantaged with not having the right equipment, so not having enough computers for each child to have one and spend the time to make their digital storytelling great and as great as it can be. So some schools are not fortunate enough to have this access to these computers and these technologies. So this type of activity would also obviously not benefit them as much as other schools. This particular clip, though, I find useful in demonstrating an example of how teachers can use ICTs in literacy and not to be afraid of it. I believe it to be interesting and beneficial, and students seem to stay engaged with what I've read, while also learning how to use different sort of computer programs. This type of storytelling, digital storytelling, can be used right from pre-primary up until year 12, where the students can get a bit more technical and have a bit more advanced storytelling. There are so many resources on digital storytelling on the internet that it is so easy to bring it into the classroom and you would not get lost. Like with any new process in teaching, there are many implications, both negative and positive, that come with putting a new process into your classroom programs, such as including ICTs. By implementing ICTs into your classroom, you'll be shifting from a teacher-centered approach to a student-centered approach to teaching. This is my ideal way. The use of ICTs can be tricky if not done right, but there is so much support with the curriculum framework and also online support and resources that if proper research is done, then a teacher can make all learning fun, interesting and exciting using ICTs. The world is not the same place as it was a generation ago. Students today routinely use ICTs that people would only have dreamed of back then. A major implication of using technology in the classroom is having an appropriate teacher supervision all the time. There is so much information on the internet and not all of it is true. If teachers rely only on students doing their own topic research, then information learned may be wrong. Questions teachers that use ICTs for researching topics will need to consider and ask themselves that the students are doing is, how do students sort through what is good information and what is not? How do they figure out whether the information they find is current, accurate and fair? How can they make sense of all this information? ICTs can be an extremely powerful and wonderful tool to use in teaching if done properly. However, if teachers are willing to make the change into ICT learning, the benefits will in turn outweigh